All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just heard a little bit from crazy man Mike Patton, and then one of my favorite songs ever, Nick Cave's The Mercy Seat, and that's from a 2010 remastered version. Fasting forward here, really sick treat for you guys. I have Owls and Aliens in the studio with me today. They are a really cool, one of the really, really good local bands that we're lucky to have here in the Klamath Basin. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
I'm Jeff.
I'm Travis.
I'm Nick.
And my name is Dakotah. Dustin, our lovely vocalist, could not join us today. He's stuck at work. Ooh.
Well, at least he's doing something.
Lame.
Yeah, at least he's making money, whatever. But we are Owls and Aliens, and we're a hard rock band here in town. Instead of trying to describe what we sound like, why don't we just play one of our songs off of our little demo that we recorded ourselves with our good friend Ryan Carter up in Bend, Oregon.
Make sure you turn it up.
And this song is called These Vices.
All right, These Vices by Owls and Aliens. on that. All right, that was Owls and Aliens' song, These Vices. Would you guys like to tell the listeners a little bit about what went into writing that song?
Yeah, Travis, why don't you give the backstory? So that song actually features Travis, who doesn't normally do lead vocals, but on that song he does, because typically Dustin Carter is our lead vocalist. But Travis, he sings too, and we like to have some songs with him singing. So why don't you tell us about that?
Very cool.
Well, that started out with me and Jeff.
In my kitchen.
Yeah. That all started out with the riff that you were playing out, and I had my acoustic guitar one night. And
that was when we just started playing together, and we hadn't even really had any song. He had songs that I was playing with that we ended up, like The Money Note. We had that one in the bag already, so we were kind of taking a break from strengthening that song to write a new song, kind of keep our influences fresh. And I was just we were taking a break, listening to music, and I was just like, man, thinking of some really cool riffs that kind of got some bands really popular. And I was like, we need a really choppy, chunky riff. And I was just kind of dancing around in my kitchen, and then Travis goes, hold it right there. Keep playing that. He dang near spilled his beer.
Yeah.
And we just jammed on top of that, and then we included the rest of the members in it, and they just kind of...
they loved it.
Yeah, when did you guys show us that song? Because we did Romanticize first. That was like the first thing we ever did in our garage without Nick.
That was probably like the third or fourth song.
I would say
Okay.
so.
Probably.
Yeah.
It was definitely early.
And I
But
remember...
it took us a long time to get down because of the transitions and everything, so...
Yeah, I remember that
it was
when...
definitely a work in progress.
I remember-
For a long time.
I remember when you guys first showed me at that transition where it goes from the... What is that chorus? The... Whoa! And then back into the dun.
The chorus back into the main riff, right?
Yeah, the chorus into the verse was so hard, and we thought that it was a time change.
It wasn't.
But it wasn't. We were just moving like the on beat.
There it is.
I didn't write the chorus riff, that's for sure. Somebody else did. It was either you or Dustin, but yeah, it worked. It blended really well, and that's a fine example of, you can hear the intro riff and you can hear the chorus, and they're just two different guitar sounds, and it just sounds good. It's like telling a really cool story.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It adds a layer of complexity to the song that really kind of hooks you in.
Yeah, it keeps you drawing back in for more,
Yeah, no, I love it. Very fun. I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do in the future.
Yeah.
So, tell me about yourselves. Are you guys all from the Klamath Falls area? How did you meet? That kind of thing?
I was born here.
That's a great story.
You gotta say that with a smile, man. At least you laughed, bro.
Nicholi was...
I'm happy you were born here. Well, I was born in Salem originally, and I was raised between Salem and the coast.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to the Basin when I was a kid for a few years. I had some relatives move down here, and then my family moved down here for a few years, but we moved a lot, so I ended up moving to like Medford and Phoenix over there, and back up to Salem. But I always had a sister that lived here and a grandma, so I always came down and visited.
Yeah.
I never kept in touch with all my friends when I moved away, because I was like 13. So now that I moved back and got reacquainted with some of my old friends, and obviously met new friends, I couldn't be more happier to be here, to be honest.
Yeah.
So this is my home now.
Yeah.
Permanent. I mean, at least for the time being, but I'm not originally from here, but I like to call it my home.
And you moved here when again? How many years ago?
I moved back
Like
here
when you moved
2016
Right.
in June.
I got you.
And just kind of packed my car up and left. I didn't tell anybody. I just waited about 3 months before people started asking, where'd you go? And I was like, well, I'm out here having fun, dude. Taking a huge break from life and kind of restarting a new one, which is great. It's been the first year was a struggle, but ever since planting my feet down, it's been really, really, good strides, positive strides, and obviously meeting these guys in incremental chunks.
Yeah,
has made my pie pretty flavorful at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was weird. I met this guy way before we ever actually jammed together, or even talked about jamming together, because I was in a band called Box Brothers.
I was a fan.
When I was going to school here at OIT, and he would come out to our shows. It was like just shortly after you had moved here, too.
Yeah, I was starting to try and get out to the bar scene, meet some friends.
Yeah, and he was always rocking so hard. When we were playing, he'd be right up front just screaming, super into the band. Like, if we needed energy, Jeff was there to give us some energy.
What's great is there's another Jeff in town now who brings the energy to the shows too.
So you pass the torch down.
You'll meet him.
Yeah.
He'll be off the stage partying while I'll be on the stage partying. Yeah.
But Jeff used to be at our Box Brothers shows, and I remember he'd come up and just be so excited and stoked that there was live music going on in Klamath Falls, and then he's like, dude, I play guitar too, we gotta jam sometime.
Super cliche moment.
And we're at the bar, just got done playing a set, and I'm like, yeah, sure, man, like, I'm already in a band, but, you know, cool.
Lo and behold.
Yep,
you
fast forward a little
before
bit.
me with your shining star in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how our meeting began, was just going to his show. I really liked the way they performed and how they were all friends, and they were all students together. They all had futures together. So I like to see that kind of stuff, that especially in musicianship. You always want to make sure that you're pushing each other to make it a little further.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw that in that, and I was like, man, if you ever want to jam sometime, I'll bring the hot sauce.
Right.
Or you provide the hot sauce. I'll bring the rock and roll.
And so when Box Brothers moved on, and I decided I was still going to be in Klamath Falls, I knew that I wanted to start a band. And so the first guitar player that I thought of to be in my band was this guy.
Well, thank you.
Was Jeff. And then little did I know, Jeff was jamming with Travis at the same time that I was looking to start a band.
Yeah.
And a big part of the beginning, too, is Dustin Carter, our vocalist. He hosted these garage shows that started a couple years back.
Yeah.
And it was a platform to bring all the local musicians together and just to jam and hang out, no judgment.
Yeah, like
and
a glorified open
that was a
jam.
big part of bringing all of us together, too. That's where I first saw Nick play, really.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a good platform for me and Jeff to show our stuff that we'd been working on before we even knew to.
Yeah, that's how we.
with you,
Dustin was aware of us too, because he knew him. Travis knew him, and I was invited by Travis to go to this garage show, and then that's where we got to play our first little set, duo, whatever, together.
Right.
Yeah.
And then later on, you come along, like shortly after. I think you came to the first garage show, hung out with us, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then by the next one, we were all playing together.
Yeah, so our energies were crossing and mixing before we even were really playing music together or trying to start a band. It's kind of cool how it all happened, really.
Right. Yeah.
We all got to know of each other beforehand, except I never really met Nick.
Yeah, and before we started the band, me and Jeff here were neighbors.
Yeah.
He lived right next door to me. And
we
just turned into
passerby to each other quite a lot downtown, because he'd always be playing music. At one time, he didn't have an ID and he couldn't go in the bar, so I'd hang out with him and play music with him. Go in and have a shot and come out and play music with him.
I was a street performer for a little while. So that was fun. That was where I met Dustin for the first time.
Hey, we performed.
Can I ask you to elaborate on that? Street performer.
Street performer. You play music outside and enjoy it.
Very cool. Okay.
I have several other friends in town who we all kind of jam outside.
Tell me about the stuff you used to do in Portland.
In Portland,
like with the telephone
busking
booth.
or whatever.
In Portland, me and my friends, right?
You say street performer, I think
we had 3 telephone
statue.
booths, and we would all be playing stuff inside these telephone booths, and they were all hooked up to this other telephone booth where people would pay 50 cents in, and they could pick up the phone and listen to what we were playing inside these really cramped, soundproof booths.
Wow.
It was really cool. It was really creative.
That's a really cool idea. Huh.
Yeah.
We
We've
love
all
Nick's,
been around.
Nick's got a very cool creative side to him.
Yeah, we're always finding out new things about him.
Because he wasn't even a bass player. He's a guitar player.
Really?
Yeah.
I was an acoustic guitar player at that.
And Jeff honestly was just one day like, hey, can I bring this guy over to practice? He plays guitar and he's just wanting to check out what we're doing, and we were honestly kind of skeptic about it, but we were like, sure, bring him over.
Yeah.
And then he was so eager to just jam with us. He's like, do you have a bass or something that I can slap on? And I was like, yeah, actually I do.
That was fun.
And within a day, I learned Romanticize the Sorrow.
Yep, that day that song was almost complete.
The puzzle pieces were all there.
Yeah.
And they fit perfect. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
We all kind of looked at each other and was like, we could really do this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't suck.
That's when it all came together.
Yeah.
Because me, Jeff, Travis, and Dustin had been jamming without a bass player 3 or 4 times leading up to that point.
Yeah.
And so we were on the look for a bassist, and then when he just kind of popped up out of nowhere, we were like, all right, this is it.
Right.
We have a band now. Let's take this somewhere.
Right. That was probably one of the best friend invites I ever invited. One of the best times I invited a friend over. Let's just say that. So.
Well, would you guys like to play another one of your songs? So we can kind of give the listeners a bit more of a feel for what you guys are up to.
I'm all for the idea.
Yeah. I was
Shoot me a title.
On and on.
Let's play On and On.
On and On.
Baby. That's rock and roll.
Yeah, there you go.
We're not a jazz band.
You know, not at all.
Not that we don't like jazz, though.
A little less contemporary.
We don't
for me.
discriminate.
I do.
Well, while I'm trying to search for this, why don't we...
It's back on our YouTube channel.
Is it?
Yeah, if you go to that first link from the first one we showed you, they can all pop up if you go to our channel.
Right there.
While I find this track, why don't you guys tell our listeners here a little bit about your own individual musical influences and how you kind of feel that fits you together as a band, like we were discussing earlier.
Sure.
I think Jeff should start.
Y'all were looking at me before you said that.
Come on, Jeff. Pressure's on.
Well, my all-time favorite band that I've loved ever since I was a kid, my first favorite band, my number one band, was always AC/DC.
Yeah, classic.
By the way, he's wearing an AC/DC shirt right now, and he's got an AC/DC tattoo on his hand. By the way, he's wearing an AC/DC shirt right now, and he's got an AC/DC tattoo on his hand.
A huge fan. I've always been a fan. My next favorite became Ozzy Osbourne, Van Halen. I'm a huge Boston fan. I love Nazareth. I love Allman Brothers. I love The Police. I like Queen. I mean,
He loves rock and roll that has hot sauce.
Yeah, I mean, if it's
sauce.
rock and roll, you know, that's what I like. I never went
stuff.
off the deep end with the heavy stuff. I like classic heavy metal, but
Yeah.
I don't like modern or post heavy or hardcore. It just doesn't reach my soul as deep as funk and swinging and rocking does. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a quick grasp of like where I come from. My dad pretty much he liked both rap and rock, but I got to see the bright side of him when he was always barbecuing and rocking out. So that's pretty much where all that came from.
All right, very cool.
I myself, when I discovered music when I was 12, I was really into pop punk and ska, Suicide Machines, old school Blink, Green Day, things like that. And then as I got into high school and discovered Nirvana, I went down that whole rabbit hole of grunge and really got into grunge. Alice in Chains, Lane Staley is still probably my favorite vocalist today. And then today
Alice in Chains is definitely one of my
Jerry
favorite bands.
Cantrell.
Oh man, that's a killer.
He's playing. And then today I listen to a lot of stuff like Deftones and Glassjaw, so I'm kind of all over the place, but they've all stuck with me.
Yeah.
Definitely through my playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool.
For the longest time, I was really into classical music, like Debussy and Bach and Franz Liszt, Beethoven, all the classics. And that really kind of helped me learn guitar at first because I was super into stuff like Isaac Albeniz and like John Williams when he played Asturias in this big hall. It was like one of the best videos I've ever seen.
John Williams is one of
really
the
got me into guitar.
Most underappreciated composers, I think.
I think so too.
Of obviously like
because he doesn't just
music.
like write all this music. He plays all of his music himself as he writes it.
Well,
And
think
it's
about
really,
like
it's really impressive because he's able to sit there and compose like over 100 instruments all at once, all playing different sheet musics, and he's like wrote all of it, and it's really impressive.
Dang.
Really impressive.
You're impressive, Nikki.
Nah. John Williams had like a cameo in The Mandalorian or something like that. Oh my god, it wasn't The Mandalorian.
It was the girl DeLorean.
Anyway, I'm a big John Williams fan as well.
Yeah. You listen to a lot, though.
Yeah, I listen to my music range goes from like death metal to classical music. I've been listening to a lot of joke music recently, like Tyler Cassidy, stuff like that.
Walter Mitty,
Walter Mitty
that's like
and
a
his
huge one in
Makeshift
your band.
Orchestra is like shout out. That's one of my all-time favorite bands.
Weren't we, the other day we were like driving in the car and you were playing your music and it was like a Walter Mitty song or some soft acoustic song.
Yeah.
And then right after some like crazy blaring deathcore song
It's like
came
a
on.
thrash metal song.
Yeah, right after. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's an easy transition.
Yeah. my music really ranges.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to listen to a
it.
lot of metal.
Yeah.
When I was like, all I listened to was death metal and stuff, and classical music, and that was it.
I feel
Yeah.
personally as though at least certain genres of classical music have a lot of crossover with metal music.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of cool the way it works.
Yeah.
All the scales and stuff.
It's because it's so technical and it's so theoretical.
Yeah,
In order
and
to-
then you have, like you're saying, the technicality, and then you have just the different layers of music and the way that you come up with melodies and just sort of broad things like that. But
Yeah.
and that's what I always thought was so compelling about a lot of metal music. Not all metal music, I feel, has that quality, but
Yeah.
Right.
I really like composers who can create like a steady rhythm and then create a melody over it, and that it just really brings out the music to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually didn't like metal, screamo, anything with screaming, the hard stuff, any hardcore, until I was probably in college. I thought that screaming was just pointless. If you can't understand the words, what the heck? But
That's how it was for me too in high school.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
totally that way for me.
yeah.
But I listened to a lot of I listened to just a lot of alternative rock and a lot of rock. And when I started getting into like playing and writing music, it was like Radiohead, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, especially like on with the drumming style. Yeah, that 90s alternative movement was huge for me when I was in high school. And then in college, I started moving more towards the pop punk and heavy metal. I remember I started listening to Panic at the Disco because my roommate bought their new CD that came out in 2013. And I was like, oh, that's just emo, bro. Like, that stuff's just for 13-year-old girls. And then I listened to, what was that record? Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of changed my whole perspective on that style of music. It's like, I realized how much more in depth it was.
Right.
Yeah, and it was like really beautiful music and touching, and it really spoke to me. So then it just like moved on from there, and then within a couple years I went from listening to Panic at the Disco to listening to like August Burns Red and a lot of the heavier stuff too.
Man, you grew up too so fast.
Yeah, so now I just love to listen to it all.
There's always that one gateway band
Right.
that gets you into
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
heavier stuff for
Yeah.
sure.
And
then
Dustin-
allows you to like start to actually hear it as music. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
I didn't even
about,
like
for
Alice in
sure.
Chains until I met Travis.
Yeah.
And I love Alice in
Right.
Chains now. Absolutely love it. I
Somebody-
can
Yeah,
listen
it's
all
an
day.
incredible band.
somebody told us just one of the biggest compliments I think we've ever received. Somebody told us the other day that we sounded like a heavier Alice in Chains, right?
With diversity, yeah.
With-
when we
with-
did the live from the Hive set.
Yeah.
Medford, right.
Was
Yeah, that was one of the biggest
The
compliments.
neighbor came over and checked out our set. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was a good compliment. I was on cloud nine for a bit there when you
Yeah.
said that.
But Dustin's cool because he listens to a lot of the hardcore stuff and a lot of pop music too, like a lot of
Mhm.
80s pop. U2 is like a huge band for him, so he like can scream and get really raunchy and hardcore, but then he'll bust out these beautiful melodies,
Mm-hmm.
He's a great singer.
yeah, that you would hear from a pop artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a great range.
Yeah.
I've seen that, like, or noticed that in a handful of your guys' videos that I watched, but that's really cool.
Yeah, but it's interesting because you wouldn't think that we'd be into some of the hardcore and the heavier stuff, but we are.
It just works. it just works.
It just works.
I don't know what to call it. It's
That's the
like-
thing with us. It just works.
Yeah, but it's tough because we can't. It's hard for us to define ourselves at the same time because everybody tries to ask us, like, "What's your sound?" What?
It's the most common question.
And you need to
Just
you need
what
to be able to answer that
music you
question.
play.
if I could make it break it down into simpler terms, it's like you think of a pizza with many different toppings on it that just
Mhm.
taste well, and they're all different. And then people go, "Oh, what kind of pizza are you?" Well, we're like, "Well, pepperoni with a little extra hot sauce on top." You know, then name a couple toppings.
Yeah.
You ain't got to go off the
We
board.
got sausage.
We got peppers. We got
mushrooms
kale on there. You know,
You know.
we ain't got to go that far. Let's just say
Mhm.
we're a good pizza for the good price.
Yeah, we even
Yeah.
threw artichokes on there because why not?
Why not, right? There's people out there that like that. You know, so.
Yeah,
Well, it is interesting. I think that when you're inside of the creative process, like you guys are, it's a lot harder to really define what you're doing. Like, I watch a lot of band interviews, and I'm a big fan of Gojira. I don't know if you guys are
I've heard of
familiar.
it.
yeah.
Those dirty Frenchmen.
Yeah.
And just listening to them, interview they had kept referring to their music as like rock and roll, and they were like, yeah, we just want to mix this good rock and roll. And like to them, that's probably how they see it.
Yeah.
You know, but their audience's perception, I would never classify them as rock and roll personally.
Right.
But you know, it's just because they're inside of that process and it's so personal for them.
Yeah.
It just sounds the way that it sounds because that's their creative.
Right.
Well, everybody wants to define you too, though. That's the thing, I get it, because you have to find a way to describe yourself. Like, because if you're trying to share with who you are and what kind of music you play, you got to have a term.
Your audience needs to have a way to identify you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To find you.
But it can go out of hand so quickly.
Yeah, it can be such a strenuous thing.
Because you don't want to be
Everybody
boxed
likes,
in.
you know?
You don't
Everybody
wanna be
likes
boxed
rock
in.
and roll, even country singing, people that like blues or jazz. So when it's kind of like, well, you know, for somebody like I don't particularly listen to jazz, but I can listen to jazz. But when it gets real complex and it becomes jazz, post jazz this, hardcore jazz, then I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, I was cool with jazz. You could have just gave me your jazz album, and I could have just on my own expected, oh, this is funk jazz or reggae jazz. I could have, but I was caught by the fact that it says jazz just because I'm a jazz fan. Now I think that when we're kind of doing a similar approach, it's like, well, we've got all these different flavors in there too, but we want to entice them with the main ingredients, which is sugar and love.
Yeah.
Get them in there.
We are not a jazz
Then they
fan.
might get something a little extra out of the box, you know, like a
Sugar
cereal
and Love
toy.
makes me think that you're like a some kind of like 90s R&B group.
You know, I guess
Which I'm all about too.
relating things, you know, but I think when you can entice them quickly and then let them find out what the rest of it tastes like to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of trying to create a name.
Because it's just
for
going to make it harder for us to reach out to our fans if we label ourselves.
Yeah.
Let them do it. That's their job.
Yep.
You know, we're not the critics of ourselves. They are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything naturally comes together, so we don't force anything. That's why everything's gone so well.
Yeah.
It's because we don't label ourselves and we don't put strict expectations on each other. We're very open. We have great communication, and when we have that, it makes things like this less difficult.
And we're very confident in what we do too. We feel
Yeah,
like we
that
put out
definitely
music,
comes off.
You know, so.
But we don't force anything.
Right.
Like, it's not like somebody in the band is saying like, hey, well, I wrote this part and I want you to play this part. We try not to do that.
That's never happened.
It's like, hey, I wrote this part. What do you think you can add, change? What do you think of this?
Sometimes, like, we'll be playing
90% of our
parts
songwriting
at practices
Yeah.
just to, like, sound check and stuff, and we'll just, like, it'll just evolve. Other people will learn parts of it, because some of us play it all the time.
Yeah.
And
sometimes we'll just scrap it.
sometimes it'll just happen.
It's not like a
we've written-
planned out thing or like a scripted, like, okay, guys, we're going to songwrite today, and let's get what's the chorus going to be like? What's the verse going to be like? It
just happens.
We don't want like putting pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
You know.
It takes the fun out of the music, because at the end of the day, we just want to play music. We
And
don't
hang
care.
out.
And what we create, if we love it and we like how it sounds and we like how it makes us feel, who cares what it's called? Let's just do it.
Right.
This is us.
It's going to make us feel better at the end of the day anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not my tire got popped or that day, I'm going to go at the end of the day and hang out and jam, and that's going to be the greatest part of my day, not the fact that I got to go buy a new tire.
Yeah.
That's the time where we can forget about
Absolutely.
everything.
Yeah.
That's the only time that I'm ever able to release all of my thoughts
Same.
and forget about everything is when we're playing together.
Same. That's why I go ham.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Well, would you like to use this opportunity to plug the Battle of the Bands that's coming up here pretty soon?
Oh yeah, I think Dakotah's better at describing what the details of that is, because I'm usually the person that I'm so busy in my life. I'm usually the last to find out about things, so I struggle to let people know what's going on. I'm gonna leave that to him.
I'll give you the info, the 411, the scoopity scoop. The Battle of the Bands competition, it's not really like an annual thing or something, so I don't know exactly who is the one putting it on, but there's several different sponsors that are attached to it. You can go to the Facebook page. It's Southern Oregon Battle of the Bands. I know that Small Movement Presents LLC and 541 THC is a sponsor on that.
Yeah, Jason and Michelle.
Heck yeah.
Love them.
Shout out to them.
And
Shout out
Joe.
And Joe. Oh, man. But anyway.
And River.
So that's March 8th in Grants Pass, Oregon. It's at the Alibi Tavern. It's going to be out in the parking lot. There's 11 other bands that are competing in the event. The event starts at noon and goes from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. that day. It's on a Sunday, and nobody knows the order of the order of the bands. So you just have to show up, and then you'll figure out when we play. It's based on social media, though, so whoever promotes the most social media, I guess,
Plays the last.
plays at the end. But we don't find out to the day of, so
Right.
get there at noon, stay the whole time. There's going to be a ton of great bands.
We'll be there.
Yep, we'll be there. There's a couple other bands from Klamath Falls, Autopilot Miscreants and Racine Parker, just
With Lucid Blue, right?
with Lucid Blue.
Yeah.
Yep, they just got in as well. They replaced another band who dropped out. So March 8th, 12 to 7 p.m., Grants Pass, Alibi
there.
Tavern. Be there. We've got some people in Klamath Falls that are coordinating some carpooling and getting some vehicles out on that day. So if you're interested in coming, hit us up on Facebook or on Instagram. Just send us a message. Owls and Aliens on Facebook or Owls and Aliens Band on Instagram.
Awesome. Yeah, that's going to be a blast.
Oh yeah,
I
full
really
day of
hope
just
I can make it. I don't think I can.
I hope
all
everybody
different
can
styles of music too. It's not just like a rock or a metal thing. There's going to be rap. There's going to be some hip hop. There's going to be some electronica,
Reggae rock band.
Some
too.
funk.
reggae, some
Yeah.
funk. I think even Racine's got that kind of country rock, blues, southern style. So there's a little bit
wide
for
range of
everybody.
music.
Yeah, it's a wide range.
It'll be a fun one.
It's a little bit for everybody. Come on down.
All right. Let's play another one of your guys' tracks. On and On, the one that we discussed earlier. You guys still into that one?
Yeah.
Would you
Rock and
like
roll,
to give like a brief intro to the song, or should we just hit it?
On and on. How do? Well,
On and on, baby.
on and on. Just hit it.
Okay.
Hit it.
They're waiting.
They're waiting.
They're waiting.
Here we go, Klamath Falls. Man, that was a badass song, guys.
Counting at the pub by the end of the day.
I have actually seen the video for that, and we can talk about that in 1 second. You guys wanted to give some shout out to some people?
Yeah, so that was a little music video that we shot with Michelle.
Michelle.
Shout out to Mia. Thank you for doing that.
Oh my God.
When we were first getting going, we wanted to be able to, share something with people after we did our little demo, so they could just see us too, and not just hear us. So that was some shots of us jamming out in our garage and our first couple shows that we did in Klamath Falls.
Including all the photos that our first photos that our band is posting on our Facebook. Shout out to
Very cool. Well, let's plug this other event that's going to be going on. It's going to be really, really fun. This is concert series. It's going to be happening April 25th. It's going to be featuring you guys.
Heck yeah, and
Yes.
also No Bad Days from Klamath Falls. That's the other local band playing.
Amongst Thieves. Our good
And
buddy.
then 2 Cali bands. Is that what you guys
3 bands from California, so we got Failure by Proxy, Amongst Thieves, and Dreams of Madness. All those guys are coming from the Northern California area, and a lot of those bands are involved with the Vet Tracks program, so that's pretty cool too. Check that out. And the show's being put on by Daniel Olivier.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel.
And he has, he's trying to get more than just this event rolling in Klamath Falls. He's really passionate about promoting the local music we have here in the basin and starting these concert series, which is extremely exciting because as far as I understood it, this area was kind of dry for that kind of show. And so it's really, really cool that he's trying to bring this to our area. I think that's awesome.
It is cool. He's working really hard. He did his first concert back in August, and Amongst Thieves came up then, so if any of you were there, you kind of got a little taste of that, and we're just trying to grow and continue it. And what Daniel's doing is really cool, because we haven't had that many shows up here in the last couple of years other than like at bars.
Or the Styx cover band.
Right.
For a while.
Or the clean one, or whatever.
No, I'm sorry, man. Styx? Are you gonna play like those 2 songs, like over again?
Oh, good lord.
You know what I mean? Like Lady Whatever and then the Roboto song?
I think it's really cool now, and now would be the best time more than ever. Like you said, when I moved here in 2016, it was pretty dry.
Yeah.
When I was visiting over the years, coming down visiting my sisters, I had some friends that were. I didn't know Travis yet, but Travis was involved with the team back then. There was a small scene back then of local bands that I know about. It comes in waves.
Yeah, there used to be a decent punk scene there, like
Oh, yeah.
The scene's been a little dry over the past few years, but it's really come back.
Well, if people, have something in front of them that
Yeah.
then put it in front of them. I think that's what we're doing.
And to have this be here for us in our town, instead of having to like Netflix or
We're a kick and rock show. Yeah. It's great to have this.
It's just going to get better and better, too.
Yeah. So, and to tag on to this, we have 2 tickets that we're going to be giving away.
Yes.
Right?
Yep,
Okay.
2 tickets.
2 tickets to see this really, really cool show. It's going to be April 25th. And Failure by Proxy, our boys here, Owls and Aliens, No Bad Days, Amongst Thieves, and Dreams of Madness. If you guys are interested in these tickets, they are free.
Shows right here in Klamath Falls at the Klamath County Fairgrounds.
Yeah, Klamath County Fairgrounds. You're going to want to message me at 541-937-5832. And this is for 2 free tickets. Well, you don't get both of them. We need 2 people to, you get
Individual
one.
callers.
Yeah, get your friend to message me. Once again, though, for free tickets to this concert, Klamath County Fairgrounds, April 25th, my number here, 541-937-5832. All right, very cool. That'll be a lot of fun. I kind of just want one of these tickets, to be honest. Well, would you guys like to play another one of your tracks? Or,
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's play Romanticize.
Let's do it. Let's play Romanticize the Sorrow.
Sure.
Would
That
you
was
guys
the
like...
first.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, wasn't trying to cut you. I was just commenting that was the first song we ever wrote.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell our listeners about that?
About that song. Oh wow.
This
yeah.
is a special song.
It is very special.
yes.
We have so much fun playing it as much as the first time we wrote it. So like even if we're playing at practice, it's still so much fun. We go out with a bang. It starts with a bang, ends with a bang. The whole dang song's a bang.
The whole
so
song's about
get your
having
neck
fun.
ready for being sore tomorrow because it's gonna be banging all day as long as this song's playing.
And it was the first song that we ever wrote. So this was the song that really culminated us.
It gave us our
solidified
confidence
us,
in each
right.
other
Yeah.
as writers and as musicians.
Because you guys were by yourself, jammed this out together, right?
Well, no,
Or was
this
Dustin
song
there, too?
originally started with Dustin.
It did? Oh,
Dustin,
okay.
Yeah, Dustin came over to Jeff's house when I was there.
Mhm.
He showed us this riff, and then it just slowly came together after Jeff, pulled a lead over it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No.
So there.
The three of them brought it to me. And that night, the first time we ever jammed, pretty much all we did was jam this song.
Yeah. And it's still just as fun as it was then.
Awesome. Well, let's take a listen. All right,
So,
very
at
cool.
the end of that song, man, that's such a good song.
Yeah. So what were your musical influences for that song specifically?
Well, I didn't have any preconceived influences. I just thought I heard. Ever since I met Travis, like I've been listening to like Alice in Chains and like Blind Melon like pretty heavily. So I was
Definitely a lot more 90s.
yeah,
90s
it
music
let my
was brought
soul
into his
kind of
life.
calm down a little bit because
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like Eddie Van Halen, but I like to be able to pull some stuff off.
Yeah.
So it calmed my soul to listen to music like that, a little less contemporary than what I'm used to. So I heard a Blind Melon type of influence out of me on top of it. So I just tried to calm it and complement it, not try to overpower what he was already playing, which was the main riff. And I just started with those little trickle notes and let him play until I felt the story was kind of building up, and then it all just turned the page, and the next one over and over. I don't know. It's kind of that's just how I kind of approached it, really. You know.
Yeah, sure.
Started with rhythm guitar, right? That one?
Yeah, it started
Yeah,
with
well, it all started with Dustin. And
that first riff.
Yeah.
I definitely kind of heard a little bit of Eddie Van Halen in that now that you've mentioned him. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's just...
He's not my
We're just
influence as a
playing- we're
guitar
just playing
player.
right?
I mean, there's similar things that he does that I do.
Yeah.
But I just learned them from other guitar players.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Eddie Van Halen, though, obviously a legend.
Yeah, definitely.
Just maybe.
Just maybe a little bit of
You
a
know, I
legend.
mean, legends, somebody else's time now.
So I've always been curious about this. You guys talked about your songwriting style and how it's kind of like a big group effort. Is there, like, do you guys just kind of each contribute, portions that are specific to your instrument? Or how does that work? Because that's
Well, all
like
of us are
jamming,
guitar
right?
players. Every one of us
Yeah.
in the band can play a guitar. So
Yeah.
on our own, we're trickling with the thing.
It
And-
usually will start with a guitar melody, though.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time.
Most
It's just
of the
kind of
time.
different every time.
It's different
Yeah.
every time.
But it usually starts with like a guitar melody.
Right.
Whenever one of us
That's-
likes a riff, we
We have
tend to
we have
a
a
way
couple
to-
that started out on bass though with Nick. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, like The Void was written by Nick,
Yeah.
completely on
It's
bass.
Pure bass.
But to answer your question, it is mostly us. So it'll start with like a rhythm guitar a lot of the time, but it won't necessarily just be Travis that played it. Like sometimes Dustin will write the melody, or Jeff will write the rhythm guitar melody and then like show it to Travis, and Travis will take it from there and make it his own.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's worked several times.
And then, but pretty much all the other instruments, other than I would say rhythm guitar, we all stick to our instrument while we're writing. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I
would
mean?
say so. Yeah.
So it's not like, even though like I can play bass, it's not like I'm gonna grab a bass, figure out the bass line, and then give it to Nick and say, Nick, this is what you're gonna play on bass, because our styles.
Yeah, we've never really told anyone. Like, we never are like, hey man, you need to play this like this.
If anything, we ask.
Yeah.
Hey, what do
Yeah.
you think about this? What
Like,
could
do
you do
think-
with
what
this?
could-
Yeah.
Maybe you could change it a little bit.
But it's typically somebody comes to the table with an idea, and the rest of the components and the instrumentation is formed around it.
We're all pretty open-minded, so we will listen to what each other.
We have
to
enough
say.
love and trust for one another that that's how it's always worked out so far, and
flows well.
Yeah. And like,
we'll
but
continue to do that, I think.
like for a song that we wrote called "The Void," it's Nick brought it to the table. Like, hey, here's this bass riff that I've been playing and jamming out, and we just slowly started adding the components to it of what we thought sounded cool with that.
That riff actually started on an acoustic guitar on my friend's couch. Shout out Tyler Eastburn for because
Nice.
we were sitting there one morning and just hanging out, and he just showed me like these two chords, and I tried to write a riff around it, and that's kind of where it all started. It turned into a really weird beat though. Like,
Yeah.
I just kept adding on to it, and now it sounds the way it does.
And then you just slowly start to figure out how you want to structure it, like how you want to, how the song is going to begin, where the transitions are, what happens in the transitions. It usually just forms off of one idea.
Yeah.
It's like a beautiful flower.
There you go.
We want
So it really
Until the
is.
winter comes and rips it out.
Yeah.
And you plant another seed.
So it really is like a team effort then, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a piece by piece team effort.
And that's why, like, we decided when we formed this band and we wrote out all of our agreements, and because we've got all our the business side of things figured out too. That we just wanted to split everything evenly, because we're all even contributors to
So
this
even
band.
if one of the songs did start with one person writing a riff or whatever, on paper it's divided between each of us, because it just eliminates hassle, because none of us are trying to make it further than each other. We're all trying to make it together as a group.
Yeah.
And
we're
that's
all
how
as
I wanna
equally important to each other and to the song too.
Absolutely.
Like, well, Mercy, that song that you've had for years and years, or Porch Song.
Yeah. Those.
Look how much they changed when you wrote them to us.
Oh yeah, those are. I can't wait to share that. Those songs, the newest one with the listeners. But the Porch Song started out with me just sitting on the porch plucking a guitar. I was literally thinking I was like on the porch in Alabama outside a cornfield, plucking a guitar, and I just showed it to them, and then we had a little distortion, and it just turned into this ripping song.
That happens a lot. Is somebody will come with an idea and then we'll start jamming it, and the person will go, "That is not at all how I was hearing it in my head, but I love how this is sounding." Like you're bringing ideas that I never would have thought of,
and it
that's
doesn't
the
sound like a
coolest
porch song anymore.
Yeah.
We just named it that because we couldn't come up with a name for it.
That's what we called it for so long.
It was like, let's just play the porch song.
It just stuck.
We called it that before it had lyrics, and then it just stuck. But that's a good transition, talking about that new song Mercy and how that was written. We're actually in the midst of getting that song recorded at a professional studio.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, you guys mentioned this when we were emailing.
Yeah, so that's going to be in Sacramento. We're going on March 14th. It's at a place called Fat Cat Recording Studios.
It's actually scheduled. It's a legit thing.
Yep.
It's not a dream. It's actually happening.
And
really exciting.
We hope that you've liked the demo, and we put a lot of work, a lot of passion, and we worked really hard with Dustin's brother Ryan on that demo. We love it.
Thank you so much for Ryan, Jackie, and Jeffrey for putting up
seriously, thank you guys, and we love that demo. But we're ready to get something that is the next level.
Yeah.
The next level of.
We're always going to reach for the next level.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yep. And we still want to have our raw sound in it, but we're excited to give that to you guys. We think everyone's going to be really stoked. We hope you guys are really stoked when that comes out, because we will be.
The newest
We want
single.
to bring up a bit about our Kickstarter that we just started.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to talk
Yeah,
about
because
that, too.
we've been able to get enough money to record a single, but we want to record a whole album this year in 2020.
We're looking to tour, do at least 30 shows in 20 cities.
What? Nobody told me. No, just kidding.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah, no, we're looking to do a lot of gigging, and we need to get a van and a trailer, but our primary goal is to get an album recorded, and that stuff is expensive.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
Could be up to $850 a song.
Well,
It just all depends.
Where's
the price
that?
don't.
Why don't you tell them where they can find that Kickstarter if somebody wanted to go ahead and donate?
So you can go to our Instagram page. The link is in our bio. You can also head over to our Facebook. Just in our feed, there's a post that has a link to the Kickstarter. If you're really ambitious, you can just go to Kickstarter.com and look up Owls and Aliens.
For sure.
Or you can just message us if you're looking for that link. But seriously, anything helps. If you give us as small of a contribution as $1, we are going to give you the single, the track for Mercy prior to its release date. So we don't know when we're going to release it yet, but as soon as that song is done, you will get that digital download of the song. So.
And also a big thank you to those who have already gotten ahead of everyone else and donated. We only had the Kickstarter up for a couple of days. And we've already had some generous donations from some really nice fans of ours that are also friends. So to those of you who have donated so far, huge thank you.
Yeah.
And to those that are considering, we still love you and we appreciate you. But contribute if you can.
This is our life.
We're very proud of where we come from. We're proud of our town. We're proud to represent you and us. So let's take it places if we can.
We love you all. We do this because of you guys, really.
Yep.
And thank you.
And rock and roll.
and hot sauce, baby.
Yeah, baby.
So ultimately, then, your guys' goal as a band would be to make this your full-time jobs and to take it on the road. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I mean, it's our dreams. All of our, we're all committed to this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We sat down, we had a serious talk, and right after we formed somewhat, because we were afraid we were going to lose a key member to potential success in another direction. So
Work.
yeah, adulting.
The man.
So we all sat down one night and we all talked about it seriously, and it wasn't a 5-minute talk. It was an in-depth talk about what we wanted to do, where we wanted to go, where we've been, what was our ideas, and they all pretty much fit, just like putting the songs together.
Yep, we
So
all had
it's
the
like-
same ideology and mentality about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was gonna. So he's talking about me. I was gonna move to Wisconsin and take a job over there.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ew.
Good job, but I would have been.
Oh,
I would have
rusty
been.
cars.
I would have been
Yeah.
stuck in an office behind a computer for the rest of my days, and
Just wondering
There's a
where
great-
you'd be.
there's a great music scene and there's a great music scene out there where I was going to be moving, but I wanted to play with these guys, and I loved what we had going on.
Yeah.
So last minute, I changed my mind and
No, we're
canceled my plans to move, and we're
And he
here.
committed
we're figuring
himself
it out.
to us.
Yeah, I committed myself to the band.
We didn't even have to tie him down. Maybe emotionally we did, but we didn't
Fine
rough him up too
dinner.
bad.
That was one of the toughest decisions I ever made.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not something to be taken lightly, for sure.
No, that was a huge sacrifice that he made for us. So even sometimes, like me personally, when I get frustrated or feel like I'm not doing enough, or I can't, I get frustrated. Well, for whatever reasons, I think about what he put up for us, all
Yeah.
5. So it goes right out the door, and just get your nose back in the dirt and keep working.
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
absolutely. It's
So
an extremely meaningful and bold gesture.
it is, you know.
But we all have that level of love, passion, and dedication to one another. We would all do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would do it
in a
for
heartbeat.
any one of these guys.
Well, I need to do a little pause here for some station identification. You are currently listening to KTEC 89.5 FM, Klamath Falls. This is Big Aaron's Reign of Terror. The time is 11:07, and I'm here in the studio with the band Owls and Aliens. So would you guys like to play the porch song?
No.
Let's play.
I got it queued up.
Boy.
It's queued up.
Give it to him, baby.
Yeah,
already
let's play
queued
it.
up.
Just
It's
do
gonna
it.
be fun. Don't worry.
I love it.
Turn it up if your grandma's in the room.
All right, this is Porch
Dance
Song
with
by
it.
Owls and Aliens.
Klamath Falls.
right. That was Porch Song by Owls and Aliens. Yeah, that song was heavy, man. Way heavier than what you'd play on a porch.
In Alabama, in front of a cornfield.
So all these songs, by the way, we're going to re-record
Absolutely.
and put on the album that we plan on releasing this year, just to let you all know. So,
Which is what the Kickstarter will also help with.
yeah, so a lot of these songs maybe will be revamped, reimagined. What's that called? Remastered.
Yeah.
These songs will be
There it is.
remastered.
Everyone's support will be remastering their local band.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work then? Did you guys get signed to a record label, or is this something you're doing
Completely independently.
completely
Yeah,
independently? Okay.
So far.
So far, it's independent. This is all out of our own pocket. But the hopes and goals is to use this recording that we get to.
Generate enough attention and funds to where we could keep this
That's a way to
rolling.
promote ourselves.
Yeah,
more.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Professionally.
To maybe create some advances like that.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
And so this is actually going to be a physical CD then, in addition to like
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's the
vinyl.
goal. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yep.
It seems like a lot of artists kind of seem to bypass that.
Cut corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see,
Put it out
I
online.
mean, I wouldn't say our full intent was to do that at first, but that's what we did.
Yeah.
And that's what the product you're listening to now. Now, it's not terrible. It's great. It's fantastic for what it is. But there's always, like we've said before, we're always trying to reach a little higher,
Yeah, and make ourselves better.
you know.
Yeah, but yeah, it will be available for like a physical CD, and we will have like a website up and everything by then too. You'll be able to get it online. You can get digital stream or physical copy, so that'll be sweet.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Because it's like, I listen to all kinds of music, and I'm always like on the, the internet's like looking at stuff, and I find these new artists that I really like, and like I drive an old ass car that
Right.
has a CD player,
Right.
and I love that's like my time is listening
Yeah.
to my CDs in my car, and a lot of artists that I've fallen in love with don't actually release CDs.
That's ridiculous. I love CDs. I
I
feel
know.
I drive an old car,
we
too.
grew up in the era of CDs, so I
Yeah,
feel like we have this particular
I
soft
feel
spot
so
for
much
them.
security with with like an actual
physical copy.
format.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
one thing I really miss too is all
which
of
is
all of the artwork and poetry that used to go along with
Yeah.
CDs and stuff too that you don't get
mhm.
as much on the.
We'll be,
like
you'll be
the
able to hang ours on your wall.
cartoons, like I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Parliaments and the Funkadelics, but
Oh,
they
yeah.
had
Oh,
these
my God. I
albums that
love
had
that
these
band.
crazy cartoons inside
Funky
of them.
band.
Boots
And it was
Collins
like, yeah, the
Mhm.
cartoons were like
Batman.
really
Yeah.
just depicted like inner
Parliament
city
Funkadelic.
life and
Yeah.
Such a great band.
Or what about when they used to write out all the lyrics to the songs?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when I was a kid,
Mm,
I would take
funk.
those, and if I wanted to learn the lyrics, I would just open that up and rewrite them.
Yeah.
right
Yeah, I
there
miss
with
that
the-
about CDs and tapes as well.
We should do that for the CD. We should get a lyric book with it too.
yeah, the liner notes.
That'd
Yeah,
be great.
we should
Actually,
do
that's
that.
a fantastic idea. Let's go retro.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Bring it back to the older audience.
Yeah.
Like so she could put it in her car and
Yeah.
listen to it.
We want everybody to be
Yeah,
able to listen
heck
to
yeah.
it.
Yeah, everybody.
Well, that's really, really cool. And that Kickstarter, again, they can access that on your Insta and your Facebook?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already posted.
Awesome.
I think some of us have
Just
shared
posted
it
it
already.
yesterday.
Yep. You can find it on our social
And it's no
medias.
obligation, no pressure. It's just
No,
an
yeah.
opportunity to help your guys out.
And we want to give an opportunity for you guys to check out the song too before it comes out.
Right.
Yeah,
so-
that's really exciting.
That's a.
I mean, I'm waiting for the song to come out too. I play the thing.
Is it done yet?
I mean, I love playing that song with these guys. We just need to get it recorded so we can get it out to you guys. Cause
March 14th, baby.
oh my goodness, March 14th.
We are recording that day.
We got a lot going on this year, guys.
Heck yeah, we do.
Busy schedule.
Very exciting. So would you guys be like, I've always been curious about this as well, like if you got picked up by a record, signed by a record company or picked up by a record company, would you even be interested in that? Because it seems like unless you find a producer and a company that really fits what you want to do, they kind of try and get their fingers into your
I'll go
process.
ahead and start and say that we would deal with that particular situation like how we write songs.
Yeah.
We would confront each other. We would ask each other, consult each other,
Yeah.
get everybody's honest opinion, the pros and cons from everybody, and as a group,
What we want. What
consider
we don't
that or
want.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we've come this far. Is
Yeah, we'd keep the
consulting.
discussion pretty inclusive with what we want.
It's really just dependent on the situation because that can vary from so many different things.
Yeah.
But
But on that subject, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think some of the benefits of actually being signed to a record label would be that you would then be promoted.
Yes.
I think that
The
they
money
would,
would
they
be
would start throwing some money at you,
quickly
but they would
thrown, yeah.
expect like a return.
Well, and you also get involved into their network of music professionals.
Yeah.
So you have other people supporting you, helping you accomplish your goals, working with and for you. And so, yeah, of course, there's something that you have to give them in return, which is totally understandable. So it would just depend on the situation. But it is something that we want to do, because if we can get support financially
absolutely.
and with what we time and energy. So if we could have a team that was helping us with that,
Yeah.
that's the goal. That's what we're
Yeah,
trying
because
to
right now
get.
we're doing it all ourselves.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
too much time and energy. So if we could have a team that was helping us with that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we can't focus enough. It's hard. Well, I shouldn't say we can't. It's hard to focus on the music
Yeah.
when you're dealing with all of that.
Yeah.
And we can't focus enough. It's hard. Well, I shouldn't say we can't. It's hard to focus on the music
Yeah.
when you're dealing with all of that stuff too.
For sure.
So-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always just think of like, I'm a big Mike Patton fan, and he created Ipecac Records and like signed the Melvins and like
Is he
a
from
bunch
Faith
of
No
other.
More?
Yeah.
Okay, that guy's cool. I like that guy.
Yeah. Faith No More and a bunch of other really weird stuff. But you know, he created that record label and sort of the image of music that he liked or appreciated. And so it kind of seems like if you found an artist or a record label that was like really into your sound,
Yeah,
Like Tupac at Death Row Records.
it'd have to be the right fit.
heck yeah.
It'd have to be the right fit
Yeah.
for
I'm
both
seeing where
parties.
you're coming with this, yeah. And
I've
you're
just
right
always
with
been
it.
curious about that part of the musical process too, because obviously it's not just like I'm blinded with creativity and suddenly I'm selling out concerts at Arco Arena or whatever, dating myself, Sleep Train Arena. But you know, there's a huge amount of legwork that goes into being successful and goes into being a band, you know, if you're gonna actually be out there selling tickets.
Yeah,
It's work. I mean, think about trying to start a business with your girlfriend that you care about. You want her to succeed. You two are gonna you're gonna cut the cards, make the flyers, knock on the doors.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But I'm not sleeping with these guys. So maintaining a healthy relationship and a strong bond and a strong commitment to succeeding is that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
With any decision is like, is it good for us? Is this gonna make sure that we all know we're all tight. We're as tight can get. But when it comes to our decisions, we rely on that
Yeah.
to make that decision or not.
Yeah.
So
I gotcha. So if it does come to pass, it would definitely be something you guys would consider as a group,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
democratically.
And we are shooting for that too.
Yeah, that is a goal. For
We're
sure.
Yeah.
we're aiming for that. But
Well, would you guys like to play some more jams? We can play.
let's play a song. Yeah, why don't you play us a song?
Place one of your favorites.
Yeah.
One of your
Let's hear-
influences.
Okay.
It's your last day.
My influences as a DJ.
Kick some
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
There you go. Put your horns back on.
My horns back on. We can also play like stuff that has influenced you guys. Why don't we play a little Van Halen, man?
There we go.
Little guitars. If you were at Chicken Cheers last Saturday, you would have saw me drunkenly.
Which one?
Little guitars.
Beautiful sight.
Singing that song.
Now that I would pay to see.
This is a beautiful song that reminds me of my daughter.
Which one?
Little Guitars.
Oh, Little Guitars by Van Halen?
Yeah. That's a beautiful song.
Oh my goodness, I don't believe I'm familiar with this album.
Ooh.
That's like
Which seems
one of the greatest
impossible
albums
because
ever.
I'm a super fan.
Diver Down.
It might be one of those things where I just have the album and I've never seen the
Oh,
cover.
good lord. You better get your butt in gear.
I know. I know. All right, so we are going to listen to a little Van Halen, Diver Down. This song is called Little Guitars.
Actually plays it with a little guitar.
That was Andrew W.K., his song I Get Wet. And I'm
Party
in the studio
hard.
still with Owls and Aliens. And we'd like to announce that we have 2 lucky winners of our tickets for this show coming up in April, and they are apparently headed this way now. And gentlemen, we will hold the tickets here at the office, and if you make it here after my show is over, there should be someone here, and I will notify them that you are coming.
And congrats to you guys. Thanks again for tuning in, and we're excited to see you at the show on April 25th.
Way to
Congratulations.
go, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And speaking of shows, we actually want to talk about a show that we have coming up this weekend here in Klamath Falls.
I'm
That's
excited.
right. We are hosting a house show at our very own home.
We are?
Yes, we are.
You guys live
I'm
together?
just now finding out about this.
What?
Cool, I'll grab my guitar.
So it's actually me, Dustin, and Travis. We all live together, and like they were talking about earlier, they started doing these garage shows a couple years ago. 2000, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago.
You'll know if you've already been.
Yes, and now they've evolved into real shows. So they're not. It's no longer an open jam like it used to be, where it's kind of like anybody could sign up to play a slot. Now we have bands and artists that have been contacted ahead of time, and they have sets planned. So for this show, we've got Motive that's coming from Reno, Nevada. And for those of you that remember Box Brothers and remember me, Dakotah, that I was in Box Brothers with Hank, him and I are going to be playing a couple songs from those days. We call that set the Box Top set, just to be goofy. And then also Dustin's brother and our brother, Ryan Carter, is going to be there performing his Mowgli and the Blues set.
Yeah.
And I'll actually be
I
joining
can't
him.
wait for that. I
It's
love
gonna be
watching
so
him
great.
play.
Oh yeah, I love playing with him. I actually will be joining with him on drums for that. He just released a new album called Myopic Man that you can listen to on all major streaming platforms. So if you're coming to the show, make sure you check him out before you come. And then finally, we're playing there. So I believe that we are going to get things going on about 5 o'clock. You can head to our house anytime after that. If you don't know the address, please, you can email us. Or, sorry, email. Dinosaur.
You've got mail.
You've got mail. You guys remember AOL? No, yeah, we'll hit you up on dial-up.
Just make sure your phone's,
Yeah. No, but if you don't know the address, just send a message to Owls and Aliens, or you can send us a message on the event page, or you can message any of the members individually, and we'll shoot you that address. It's going to go till the party stops, which is usually
Never.
never. It doesn't cost anything to attend, but we do have a suggested $5 donation to help the bands that are traveling. Like I said, Motive's coming from Reno, and Mowgli is coming from Bend, and they got to pay for gas. They're going to be crashing at our place, but we want to get them some food too. And anything helps. If you're not able to purchase a ticket, you can actually purchase the ticket on the Facebook event page, which is again on our Facebook. But if you are not able to, we'll have a donation box there. But like I said, it's not required to attend the show. We're
there to have a good time, so just show up.
Yep, just show up, and we're going to be doing a giveaway to those who are able to purchase a ticket too at the event. So
It should be fun.
as a thank you.
And they seem to be getting more and more exciting ever since I started. They're getting bigger. The sets are getting better. The friends and fans are showing up in troves now.
It's becoming a real scene now.
So far, we haven't had any bad luck with anything. Everything's been great. All of our friends show up. We end the night on a high note. Sometimes we even play an extra few songs.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and we're going to have stickers too.
It is. What's that?
We're going to have stickers at that show
Oh yeah,
too.
we'll have more stickers. Make sure you ask us about that. See where you can get one. I'm not so sure about the merch yet. We'll probably have some later on once we get more funds.
Yeah, stay
you know.
tuned about the merchandise. That's upcoming.
Yeah, we'll take care of all that soon.
Very cool.
So stay tuned. Stay listening. Go ahead and like our band page. Share it too, if you guys are supporters. Let all your friends and family know too, because I know a few moms that are really excited about this. So. Oh, and a grandma too. Yeah, I hope she's doing all right too. So.
Very cool. Pay your $5, people. Don't be douchebags.
Yeah, support
It's
local.
only $5.
Right.
Oh, and we also will have tickets available for that April 25th show, the one that we gave out today.
Yeah.
We have those tickets, so hit us up if you want to purchase those. They're also available for sale at Bravada Brew House here in town. You can pick up a physical copy there. You can also get the tickets at a music store on Main Street here in town, or you can purchase them online at the ticket link provided on the Facebook page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. That
Real
sounds
cool.
like a badass venue. Or
Show?
not venue. Yeah.
Show.
Oh yeah.
Event.
This whole
Event.
year's
Yeah,
this
it's
whole
gonna
year's
be
gonna
great.
be
It's gonna be
quite
amazing.
exciting. We got a lot planned out. We got a few festivals we're gonna play. We got a lot of traveling to do, and we're also gonna be taking some nice breaks in between.
You're playing which festival specifically?
Aren't we playing Metal in the Mountains?
The Klamath
Not
Metal
confirmed
Fest.
yet.
That's not
There's a
confirmed.
Klamath Metal Fest?
There is
Yeah.
one now.
Metal Fest
I know you
in
guys gotta
July.
go, so we don't have to talk
Thanks to
about
all
it.
the
No, that's okay.
locals,
I did
you
wanna
know,
bring
for
that up.
pushing it.
The Klamath Metal Fest is happening July 25th. There's going to be like 12 bands or something.
Right.
It goes from 1 p.m. to 10 or whatever. It's at the Shasta
There
Grange
is a
Hall.
flyer for it that we've already been sharing.
There's going to be a lot of
Yeah.
bands that day. That's why it starts so early at 1 in the afternoon on a
Yeah,
Saturday.
because there's like a dozen bands. That show is until July 25th.
Mm-hmm.
So keep your ears out for more information on that.
Right.
Very cool. That's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, it is
Yes.
the first actually. I think Klamath's never had a metal fest.
I can't
It's-
Well,
imagine.
they've had metal
Klamath
shows
has had a
before,
metal
but
fest.
this will be one with
A few bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're trying to make it
It's such an
annual too.
expensive one.
So
and then next year, Manny said something about trying
Yeah.
to get 15 bands instead of 10.
yeah,
so-
but the only way we can make it annual is if we get all your support and people coming out.
Right, that's all we need.
Just head to our Facebook to find out more about that too. I think there is an event page up already even. So
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
you can find that there. That's it.
Well, very cool.
I think that's
guys.
all I've got, other than a couple funny jokes. But
Well, thank you guys very much for coming by, and
Thank you for having us.
yeah, you bet.
Yeah,
Super
thanks.
exciting. Battle of the Bands should be really fun. Hopefully, all of our listeners can make it out there, and then it's just really cool to learn that there's so much culture in Klamath Falls. I had no idea that we had such a scene.
Yeah.
It's sort of in its early phases, hopefully, and it's
We're-
only going to keep growing.
Yeah, we're trying, but it's tough too because there hasn't been so much for quite some time
yeah,
that we need everyone's help getting the word out too
we need to get
that this
the.
stuff is going on.
Yeah, just be active.
The vibe
If you
out
like
again.
music,
Yeah.
just start going to shows. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that.
You know how much
Yeah.
fun you
Don't
have
be
when you go to a
scared.
show.
Yeah.
I know it can be nerve-wracking to go, especially when you haven't been going and there isn't a scene that's already established. But we're all about love. We're not here to judge. We're not here to make fun of anybody. We're not here to be like, oh, well, our style of music is better than your style of music.
No.
We just
We're all
want
friends here.
equality and love spread throughout this community and support and
Crack a cold one.
yeah, we love you all. We love this town. So
We definitely love
It
this.
can only
town.
get better if we support one another. So
Very true.
Let's
very
make something
true.
of this town. I'd be proud of that.
Yeah.
In my later years.
Heck yeah, make it more of a destination than Bend. Make it like a musical.
I've always thought about that too. If there's something
Yeah.
here, people will come here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're here.
yep.
Y'all can come down here because we're here. We'll show you a good time.
20 years from now, you'll have this epic music scene and all these
Couple music stores.
creative. Yeah,
That'd be cool.
there
That
might
would
actually
really
be
cool.
more than just one music store.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
even a music store in town.
There's two.
A music store
There's
on
two.
Main Street.
Is the
And then
name.
there's Denim Music.
Yeah.
Brian and George run that store, and they're great guys.
And
What
that's
do they sell?
music equipment, guitars,
They just sell
Oh,
carpets and
okay.
tiles and the occasional
strings,
frogs.
accessories. They sell for band, if you're in school and you do band,
Yeah, totally.
brass instruments,
String instruments.
Yeah.
you got a small record selection too.
But that's where tickets for that April 25th show are: a music store on Main Street and a Bravada Brew House. $15
I might
pre-sale
go buy
tickets.
myself a ticket and then go gift it to somebody.
Heck yeah.
Generously.
Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming by, and then
Thank you.
for bringing these tickets too. That's kind of fun, and best of luck to you,
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
you
much.
for bringing us on the show. This is your last show, right?
This is my last show.
Wow, that's
Well,
crazy.
shout out to you.
Yeah.
Catch
Thank you,
me-
Aaron.
Catch me next.
Outside.
fall.
KTEC's really going to be missing.
You know,
Down
yeah.
it. Yeah.
KTEC will be missing Reign of Terror in the meantime. But, yeah, thank you so much. We're honored
Yeah,
to
we
be
had
on
fun.
your
I had
last show
fun.
of the season.
Heck yeah. Well, hopefully, my plan is for all three of my listeners out there now as well is to come back and probably start my show back up in November or whatever, and I'll probably contact you guys if that ends up being the case and see where you're at and if you'd like to play any music or
We would
anything
love
like
to.
that.
Sweet.
That'd be cool. Catch up with your boys because
Yeah.
we're gonna be
Okay.
busy.
We'll have a big update by November.
Okay.
Big
Oh, yeah.
updates.
Awesome.
And a lot to show you.
November.
Oh, November.
November.
The schedule till November. All right.
All right, well, I'll let you guys hit the road.
Rock and roll,
Rock and
baby.
It was great to have you guys with us, and
Way to give it 110%, girls.
stay in touch with your music scene and listeners out there. Be looking out for these guys. I think they're going to go far.
Peace out, Klamath Falls. We'll see you soon.
We love you.
Later, boys.
Going to play a little Code Orange here while I see the gentleman out the door.